I'm James Yogo. I head the cybersecurity function in Safaricom. I'm solely responsible for defining and actualizing the cybersecurity strategy. Part of main purpose for Safaricom generally is to transform lives and to drive sustainable business model. So to an extent, as we speak, Safaricom is not just for the traditional GSM, but Safaricom it has managed to innovate around the customer. So as we speak, of course, we talk about M-Pesa, which is a key to financial services. Safaricom gets to the levels of offering public cloud, and of course, we play. Sorry for that. And as well, we play into IoT business as well. So basically, if I'm just to give it the opportunity to delve into this particular topic, I would say that to an extent, when you look overall around what has happened in the last couple of years, the internet was more or less invented close to 30 years ago. And what we are seeing today is close to 2 billion websites already into the space. So that's a very big, a lot has happened within the 30 years. And as we speak, of course, again, on the other side, when you look at the attack surface, that has as well grown. So to an extent, digitally, we see quite a number of devices getting connected out. And it's projected that by the year 2020, we'll be seeing close to 50 billion devices getting connected out. And the human attack surface as well has grown. So as we speak, we are seeing close to 6 billion users, internet users, and it's projected that by the year 2030, we'll be seeing close to 90% of the wider global population using the internet. And that's quite huge, right? But then again, on the attack surface, a lot has happened, such that today attacks are becoming more complex, more targeted, and if it's videos,
sorry, James. You need help with your slide? Do you need help?
Unfortunately, I don't have a slide. I just have a script.
Okay. I thought you had a slide. Sorry for that.
No.
Okay, thank you.
So we are seeing a lot of complexities cropping up, and as we speak today, in terms of phishing and social engineering scams, it's becoming more sophisticated, more targeted. And just to give an example, like late last year, you remember we had the St. Ambrose attack, which was more of a business email compromise, which to an extent that organization got to go close to $400 million to scam, right? And today we are looking at deep fakes. So to an extent, even that space of phishing and social engineering, it's becoming more complex, right? Just the other day, last year, but one GitHub suffered a close to 1.3 Tbps of a DDoS attack. And last week, we were talking about AWS mitigating close to 2.3 BPS of DDoS attacks, right? So to an extent, the threat landscape is becoming more complex, right? More targeted, and as we speak again, the bits around crime as a service is taking center stage, right? Today we are talking about ransom as a service. We are talking about DDoS as a service, which to an extent you can get with $20. You can get to lease off the cloud within the depot dark web, right? And get to hire that for a year at less than $20. So that is the space that we are talking about today, right? Again, on the other side, when you check closely, the bit of race to zero, whereby attackers are trying to minimize the time between when 0 days are discovered and the time when exploits are in place for them to get to exploit the flows or the loopholes, right? State-sponsored attacks are on the rise. Any other day, any other week, we see them in official media, right? But then cloud is changing the way security is being done, right? And to an extent, we are also seeing organizations or enterprises moving their stuff to the cloud. I think I just came in when Ben was getting down with his stuff, and was talking about organizations going to the cloud. And I think it's real. Today, I would say that quite a big percentage of organizations, as we speak, get to host their mails on the cloud, right? Most of the organizations have got quite a number of the applications hosted on the cloud. And every time when we move all this to the internet, when we digitize, the more exposed we get, right? And that is the truth. Of course, again, cloud is perceived as cheap to an extent. I don't know how cheap it is, but it gets to expose us, right? Such that to an extent, from where we sit as cyber specialists, we really have to crack our heads just to ensure that in as much as we get to push our stuff to cloud, right? What are the mitigation, what are the controls we have to ensure that we get to have the same controls that we had on-site or on-prem transferred to the cloud. So when you talk about, for example, the normal physical or the on-prem security controls around the network, the anti-distributed denial of service, the firewalls, the web application firewalls, the next generation IPSs, how do we get to mirror that again to get to protect data or information that we move out to the cloud, right? So to an extent, 2020 and beyond, we are seeing more of our solutions as well moving to the cloud, right? So when you talk about a WAF service, web application firewall service, of course, again, to protect that estate that we are moving to the cloud, it's only logical that we as well move our replicate whatever controls we have within our environments, be it preventive or detective, to as well take care of whatever goes out to the cloud, right? And the perimeter to an extent is diminishing. And I would say COVID has really nailed the last, putting the last nail on it, such that today, and I had Ben talk about it, most of the stuff, like for us, Safaricom, I would say, as we speak, we have close to 80% of our staff working remotely, right? Now, that means that even our protection and detective elements or controls have to be extended to the different homes for staff, right? So a bit of perimeter has moved right from what we had traditionally to the data that you have in your laptop, to the users or user identities that you have within your organization, to the information that you have, right? So all controls that you're working up to needs to answer to that end user, right? Needs to answer to the information that is seated in that laptop that your staff gets to use. So all that is changing, and work from home is really the default model that we need to work on. And to an extent, as security specialists, everything we do in terms of architecting all our controls, be it preventive or detective, need to revolve around that user seated back at home, right? And when you look at the artificial intelligence space, right, of course, again, from where we sit at a preventive level, we get to leverage so much around artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? But the twist is the attacker as well is using AI and machine learning to get to make complex the attacking mechanisms. So this is even becoming more murkier, right? And to an extent, the field is becoming even more complex for us. So it's more of a cat and mouse game. So the more we do to get to fix, the more they come up with different ways of getting to attack and different ways of making the attacking mechanisms more stealth, right? And today we talk about metamorphic malware, which to an extent gets so stealth that to an extent even detection is a problem, right? And the spend around cyber continues to expand or to increase, right? Today we have to fix for organizations which are not ready for working from home, right? They have to work on their VPN tunnels, right? They have to work on controls around data that is seated in laptops for staff working at home, right? They have to extend the LAN right to the homes, and all these related controls have to be taken care of. So to an extent, as we speak, we are seeing an increase in spend around cyber, right? And that will get to continue to 2020, or rather 2021 and beyond, right? And it's projected that by 2021, we are seeing that spend going to close to 1 trillion per year from 2021 and beyond, right? And of course, again, given that the attack surface is increasing and the landscape is becoming more complex, right? A bit of cybercrime is becoming more and more expensive. As I said earlier, right now as we speak, you can get to lease out an anti-DDoS service, right, at less than $20 for a whole year, and push out up to 220 Gbps of attacks to whichever target that you want, right? Making it very easy for attackers to launch the attacks towards targets, right? So that is getting to increase, and organizations only have got the opportunity to get to fix before they get attacked. And I'm seeing a lot of cyber insurance coming into play, because again, you cannot get to afford X, whereas you can get to that preventive mode of ensuring that you have an insurer just to cover you in case of any loss or data loss, right? And a lot will get to happen as well around automation, right? Today, of course, when you talk about pen testing, when you talk about bug bounty, when you talk about red team, blue team, right? A lot happens, and normally it's triggered by, it could be, normally organizations get to schedule maybe per quarter or per month based on the crown jewels that an organization has. But I'm seeing that getting to get automated in future, because again, because of the threat landscape and the numbers and the complexities, it only makes sense that you get to automate the findings for you to be in a position to find on the go, right? So if it's bug bounty, which to an extent exposes your crown jewels out, yeah, for ethical hackers to help you get to find out, and you automatically get to fix. So that will get to that automation level. And not just automation, but orchestration is also very important, right? Because when you talk about threat intelligence, which is which plays huge into our space, right? How do you get to handle the threats that faces your organization, right? And of course, when I check onto my threat intelligence system, I see thousands coming in at any given hour, at any given minute, right? How do we get to automate and fix on the go, right? So orchestration will come in handy, right? So when we talk about blocking something on our intrusion prevention systems or on our firewalls, yeah, on the go, an alert comes in, and of course it gets automatically to be blocked, right? So threat intelligence, automation and orchestration is key as we move into 2021, 2022 going forth. And another big thing around us right now is on zero trust, right? Zero trust. How do we get to boost our zero trust strategy? As I mentioned earlier, security is moving from within the perimeters to the end user, yeah, to the data that you have in your laptops, to the information that you have in your laptops. But how do you get to ensure that you are, or rather your staff are the right guys that are getting onto the data that they need to, yeah? So zero trust, which is a strategy or which is a model, we'll get to see to an extent a lot of enhancement and a lot of focus as we move forward, right? Then cybersecurity skill gap is another key one that we'll be looking up to, right? Not just as Safaricom, but globally, because it's a big one. Today we are moving our stuff to the cloud, but do we have the capability, right? Yeah, guys are moving that, doing DevOps. Do we have the capability for DevSecOps? How do we get to empower our developers to move on, and for us to get to ensure that we integrate security with operations, right? And again, just to look at the all stuff, because again, like I had Ben say, we are the weakest link around cyber, right? How do we ensure that awareness, or we have a well-consolidated program around awareness, right? So cyber hygiene is a key one. The same way I wake up in the morning, I go jogging or I go to the gym, right? I get to to brush and ensure that I'm fresh. In the same way, we need to carry out ourselves around cyber. So if it's stuff around passwords, if it's stuff around not clicking links, not just clicking links without confirming what you are clicking, that will get to be very, very key as we move forward, just to ensure that when we talk about exposures, or when you talk about the preventive controls we have, or the detective controls we have, at the end of the day, the user or the staff is also well empowered to get to know and make the right decisions. And I think that's it from me.